Greetings and welcome to my channel. Some viewers have suggested better ways of determining COLA, and I thought I would do a little calculating to figure out what would have happened over the long run if we were to use some of these other methods. I chose to grab 30 years of data since most people only collect Social Security for 30 years or less. Because I'm comparing a 12-month average along with other methods, and the current year isn't over, my calculations cover the 28 years from 1993 to 2021. So I determined the 30 years, grabbed that data, and basically I'm going to get 28 years. So hopefully that's enough time to get an idea of what's going on. I grabbed 30 years of CPI-W data from here, some information from CPI-U history from usinflationcalculator.com, and this COLA history data. To create this spreadsheet, I won't bore you with the details, but this gave me 12-month, 3-month, and single-month year-over-year CPI-W percentage increases. This resulted in 5 COLA calculation options. The gray column is actual. Something I learned and would like to point out. In 2009, third quarter year-over-year inflation was negative 2.1%, so the COLA was 0%, as I already understood. What I didn't know until researching this is that because the CPI-W in 2010 had not increased back to 2008 levels, COLA was still 0%. Overall, since we're tracking the index number, the end result is nearly identical to using negative numbers, which are easier to calculate. Both results rounded to 89% and were less than 0.3% different. Also, before anyone complains about a year where we had 1.5% inflation and received 0% COLA, remember that you had a real COLA increase of about 2.1% the previous year because there was CPI-W deflation, but there was not a benefit reduction. And by real, I mean, since there was deflation, you didn't receive a reduction in pay. Your end result was a real, in quotes, increase in your income. I calculated the percent increase of each index from September of 1993 to September of 2021. Notice that CPI-U, which some people believe we should use, is only 0.3% higher over almost 30 years. Before I continue, here's an online calculator showing that $1 in 1993 is worth $1.88 in 2021. This calculator uses the average CPI-U from 1993 and 2021, which results in a cumulative increase of 87.52%. Nobody suggested using the first quarter to determine COLA, but I included it just to see what it would look like. Because our high inflation had just started in the first quarter of 2021, using the first quarter only resulted in an 83% cumulative COLA. However, this is only 0.5% behind the March of 93 to March of 2021 inflation. Many people suggested using the second quarter because that seems to be the quarter when inflation is the worst. CPI is seasonally adjusted, which smooths out the index and makes this not true. I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but it does make COLA less volatile. From 93 to 2021, CPI-W increased 87.6%, and COLA would have only increased 86%. Surprisingly, using the third quarter gives us the best result over this 28-year period. COLA has had a cumulative increase of 89%, and as we have seen, inflation measured by CPI-W and CPI-U have increased by about 89%. While it looks like the third quarter this year will be around 8.7% versus 9.3% for the second quarter, the third quarter was 0.4% higher than the second quarter last year and 1.1% higher the year before. Aside from information not being available in time to make a COLA adjustment, the fourth quarter calculation was the worst compared to its equivalent December of 93 to December of 2021 comparison. The 12-month average just ends up lagging behind and is similar to using the first quarter. And finally, at least one person suggested this. While it would be great, using the highest month each year would cause benefits to go up much faster than inflation, and Social Security would already be bankrupt, or we wouldn't be able to collect until age 80. Some people were upset when I mentioned that my local egg prices have dropped significantly, so I'm going to use widgets as an example, since we like to use them in the study of economics. Suppose a dozen widgets cost $1 in 1993, and I gave you $1 to purchase those widgets. Over the next 28 years, the price of a dozen widgets went up to $1.88, but now I'm giving you $2.51 to buy them. That works out great for you, but I'm going to go broke overpaying for widgets. I'm not saying the system is perfect, but when we compare COLA to both CPI-U and CPI-W inflation data, using the third quarter has been the best option from 1993 to 2021. No guarantee that it's going to be the best option in the future. Also, because we track the index number, we will always eventually capture the inflation. It might be up to a year delayed, but we will eventually capture it because we are using that continuous index number. That's from the data I showed you at the beginning, the data that I pulled from the Social Security website. And finally, the third quarter is the last full quarter we could use in order to make the changes or benefits that start getting paid sometimes at the very end of December. It kind of depends on when when the checks go out. But in order to make the change in time, you would need to use the third quarter. The fourth quarter results wouldn't be out until around the 10th to 14th of January. Please leave a like, consider subscribing, and if you're going to retire, retire to something.